what I'm going to do now next is introduce Jack Ekstrom, Vice President, Whiting Petroleum.
Thanks, Tim. So these are all the tough guys, huh? You could endure an entire day of this. My hat's off to you. It is great to be back in my hometown. I passed through Park Ridge on my way to the lakefront. A lot has changed since I left after the summer of 1968 unpleasantness, but certainly the politics are still some of the most interesting in the country. And you can't come here without making a bow toward politics. Just be sure you don't bow too low or too long, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. You may not be aware that the father of our country, George Washington, a lot of Washingtons in Chicago, George was here as well, was actually a native of Hyde Park. You can look that up if you don't believe me. But things were going well in Chicago for George until he chopped down the cherry tree. He told his father, "Dad, I can't tell a lie. I chopped it down." His father was absolutely incredulous. He said, "Son, pack your bags, we're moving to Virginia, you'll never make it in Chicago politics." As Tim said, I don't believe in death by PowerPoint, so you just have to listen to kind of catch the drift of what I have to say. But very quickly, a little bit about Whiting. We're a New York Stock Exchange 1000 company. Been public since 2003, and were founded in 1981 by, strangely enough, a guy named Ken Whiting. We have more than 750 employees, 200 plus of those in North Dakota. We operate the single most prolific field in the Bakken play, Sanish Field in Montreal County. We have offices in Stanley, Dickinson, and shortly our new office in Watford City will be open. Details of our operation and a video with all the chapter and verse about us can be found on our website, www.whiting.com. In 2012, we're going to spend about $900 million in North Dakota. That's roughly half of our projected CapEx for the year. We are in a couple of the sweet spots of the Bakken hydrocarbon system, and some other operators, as you would expect, also have excellent positions. It is a huge system, you've heard that all day. Spans thousands of square miles and includes roughly the western one-third of North Dakota and perhaps 5 or so of the northeasternmost counties in Montana. Play also extends into Canada, as you've heard. It's more conventional, vertical type drilling play that we've engaged in this country for decades. Of high interest to residents and you've heard this question too all day. How long will this last? I can assure you this is no flash in the pan. The first phase of production and development will last, as you've heard, a good 30 years. Beyond that, there will be secondary recovery activities, water floods, enhanced recovery, innovations, and perhaps discoveries of new producing formations that today's technology do not even take into account. Only 6 or 7 years ago, the rise of North Dakota from number 10 to number 2 producing state would have been laughed at, and now it's a fact accomplished. Now, should we achieve about 1 million barrels or more a day, you'll see sustained demand for housing, for services, roads, infrastructure of all types, and you've heard that all day too. That's one of the great things about being last, you get to repeat everything everybody else is doing. Now, just last week, United Airlines, I don't think anybody said this before, United Airlines announced it would begin flights to Williston, and the city is in the early stages of planning for a brand new airport, and I think you can expect to see that sometime in about 4 or 5 years. So the key question for all of you is, how do I engage and where do I start? To establish a beachhead, you have to first get up there. So go and get the lay of the land if you haven't done it yet. Even though this development is no longer in its infancy, there remains plenty of opportunity. I like to think that this is the end of the beginning. To establish the strategic partnerships with established businesses, you should join the North Dakota Chamber. That's pretty obvious, but what may not be as obvious is joining the North Dakota Petroleum Council, because all of the people you want to do business with are there, they're meeting there, they talk to each other, and you need to become one of them if you're serious about engaging in the Bakken. We are a member of both, as are most oil and gas companies and service companies, as well as your potential partners who can very quickly reach their span of control and need to partner with someone like you to take full advantage of the opportunities there. So briefly, if you want to know about the North Dakota Chambers, easy to find on the web. North Dakota Petroleum Council is www.ndpcoil.org. So I highly recommend that you join. Go to their meetings, get their publications, do your homework. North Dakota is not a cold calling state. It is all the 3 R's: relationships, referrals, and reputation. North Dakota is like a small town. It's just that the streets are very long. It may take you a while to establish that beachhead, but you will find the citizenry and business community an absolute pleasure to work with. Be sure to arm yourself with some Ole and Lena jokes to get yourself started. Or if you don't have those, you got to be able to do a decent Lawrence Welk impression. So I'm going to give you an Ole and Lena joke that you can take with you to kind of give you Oregon. So the phone rings at 3 a.m. at Ole and Lena's house. Ole wakes up, staggers over and answers the phone. He goes, "Yeah, hello." The caller says, "Is this Ragnar's house?" Ole says, "Oh no, this is Ole and Lena's place." The caller says, "Oh, so sorry to wake you at 3 a.m. I'm so sorry." Ole says, "Oh, that's okay. I had to get up to answer the phone anyway." So thanks for your endurance and thanks for coming. I look forward to your questions.
See, that is why this gentleman does not need a PowerPoint. Me, I'm a PowerPoint guy. And I'm glad I'm not following Jack and for the poor soul it is.